Last night's Rangers Lightning game had Game 6 Eastern Conference final vibes written all over it. Tampa ultimately pulled it out and won 2-1 in a shootout. Johnny Lazarus is the host of the Blue Crew podcast, and he joins us now because we're going to talk all about the blue shirts. Johnny, first and foremost, thanks for joining us. I mean, just that game last night, man, crazy, absolutely crazy game, went down to shootouts. After that loss, though, Jacob Trouba said, if we play like that and lose, we can live with that. It's one of those build off that loss mentality quotes. But what were your takeaways from last night?
First of all, Brandon, thank you for having me. I appreciate it. And you said it perfectly. Last night had Game 6 vibes. I think everyone kind of thought it was a playoff atmosphere. But for me, my takeaway from that game, similar to Jacob Trouba, was that the Rangers, in my mind, outplayed Tampa Bay. The pucks just didn't bounce their way. They missed 3 breakaways. They had a couple great chances in overtime, specifically that Panarin and Zibanejad 2-on-1 where Mika kind of missed that wide open net on the one-timer. But also, it came down to the power play. The Rangers went 0 for 3 on the power play last night, which is usually their bread and butter. And their power play has been a little cold as of late. They're 1 for their last 16. And they went up against the best goalie in the NHL, and Andrei Vasilevsky. So, on any other night, sometimes those pucks will go in. But, I think the main message that Gerard Gallant and the Rangers wanted to send last night was their effort and consistency. And I thought the effort was there for the entire 60 minutes, as well as the consistency. The puck just didn't find the back of the net. So that can change any other night.
I'm glad you mentioned Vasilevsky because both he and Igor Shesterkin put on a clinic last night, facing 40 and 46 shots. Vasilevsky got the win, but would you say it's safe to say that Shesty is back after a rough start to the beginning of the season? I see you shaking your head.
Oh, yeah, he is definitely back. And I don't know, what necessarily went wrong for him in the beginning of the year. Also, today is his 27th birthday, so shout out to Igor on the birthday today. But for me, I mean, I look at the wins, and he's, tied for second right now in the NHL in wins for goalies, only behind Linus Ullmark, who's got 20. Igor's tied with Hellebuck in Winnipeg with 17. And I think in Shesterkin's last 10 starts, he's 7-2-1, similar to the Rangers record in the last 10 as well. I think Igor gives them a chance to win almost every single night. There are some off nights, which, he's human, it's going to happen. But, in a game like that, he gave them every chance to win. They just couldn't put the puck in.
All right, let's go to the headlines before the game because head coach Gerard Gallant made Alexis Lafrenière a healthy scratch while he's searching for the right line combinations. Let's take it back to last night. What were your thoughts on his line combinations?
So I've been thinking about this for way longer than I'd like to admit. I am a huge Alexis Lafrenière fan. He's my favorite player, and I actually happen to love Gerard Gallant as a coach as well. I thought the line combinations last night were similar to what we've seen throughout the year. Barclay Goodrow getting top 6 minutes. Is he necessarily a top 6 forward? I don't think so, but he's kind of interchangeable in the lineup. I thought all 4 lines did play pretty well. I thought Sammy Blais, who came in for Lafrenière, actually played pretty well also. But I think as far as this whole Lafrenière situation goes, it's very difficult, and it's not what we're used to seeing from a number 1 overall draft pick. Usually those guys are drafted. They come in right away to save a franchise. But in Lafreniere's case, there was already a lot of talent in his position on this team. So I think right now what they want Lafrenière to do is somewhat just buy into this, role player position that he isn't necessarily made for, but it's something that has just, it's what his cards were dealt to him, that he has to just kind of deal with that if the team wants to win. I think the worst thing that could have happened for Gerard Gallant and Lafrenière last year is actually going to the conference final, because now this whole rebuild has sped up and now they're expected to win when, the whole message before a season ago was just to make the playoffs. So for Lafrenière, I think, he has to just take this with a grain of salt, come in, be angry, and, just do whatever he has to do for the team to win and make an impact on the game any way he can.
Really quick, does this loss spark momentum for the Rangers going into 2023?
I think so, also because their first game of the new year is against the Florida Panthers in Florida, and I think those games are typically 70% Ranger fans down there in Florida, especially on New Year's Day with everyone trying to vacation in Florida this time of year. So I think they'll carry some momentum from last night's game into Sunday late afternoon's game against the Panthers and hopefully come back home on a positive note to start the new year.
Yeah, hopefully Rangers fans aren't flying Southwest Airlines to get down to Florida. They'll never make it. All right, Johnny, thanks for joining us, my man.
Thanks, Brandon. Appreciate it.